Vipassana meditation. You need to know about this amazing technique. What is it? It's mental purification through self observation. Why do you want mental purification? Well, everyone wants to live out their lives perhaps more peacefully, right? Often we can sort of point to all these people out there and say they are the cause of my misery and blah, 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 blah. When really actually we're reacting to the sensations of our body. So we'll start by talking about the four aggregates of the human being. First of which is the vijnana, which is this kind of silent witness, our capacity to see things objectively, right? The universal observer. Remember, all is mind, the universe is mental. And then from this, we have sana, which is perception or recognition. And then trickling down to our sensations, we have vedana. And this is where really the power lies, because we realize that a lot of our reactions in life, perhaps you're in a stressful work environment or your family and friends are giving you a hard time, we can get triggered, right? And this happens so quickly. But what we've got to realize is actually there's something in between these supposed externalized objects and our reactions, which is sankhara, the final part of that fourfold nature of the aggregate of the human being. And when we can start to identify these sensations, then we can begin to observe them, not suppress the way we feel, or not express, but to simply observe what's happening within the body. Because often you can feel it, right? And if it's a very deep-rooted sankhara or reaction or something that's stored in the body for a long time because you keep reacting in the same way, you can feel it in your throat as well, all right? This happened to me when I was on the course, 10-day course. Someone kept closing the window at night, which is, in a dorm is a bad idea of like 8 people. And so there was a noble silence, and I didn't how to sort of deal with this confrontation. I didn't know. And I was thinking about saying something, but I felt this reaction here, and at that moment I was like, okay, I'm just going to observe. I'm just going to observe. I'm not going to suppress it. I'm just simply going to observe. It's a good point. I couldn't actually express it because I would have been shouting all over the place. So anyway, Vipassana, however you want to say it, like I say, is the mental purification, right? A process of mental purification through self-observation. So what you start doing is learning how to simply observe the sensations within your body. Now, it could just be hot, cold, itchy, could be moisture, could be dryness, could be anything, right? Any adjective that you could use to describe the sensations, prickly or tingly, or buzzing, or a sort of like throbbing if you can feel your heartbeat. What you learn to do is to silence this apparent external world and focus your attention and create the sama samadhi, right, which is the right type of samadhi as they would have it in Buddhism, which is one of the 8 aspects to the eightfold path to enlightenment. The sama samadhi is not a contrived thing. It's to see the reality as it is. Don't force the breath. It's not like pranayama where you can force it in, force it out, and become aware like that. It's just simply, is your breath short? It doesn't matter. You just observe it. Is it coming through the left nostril? Is it coming through the right nostril? Is it a deep breath? Is it a shallow breath? And you begin with this anapana type meditation, where you're simply observing the breath, learning how to silence the monkey mind and bringing it back, when it does go for a wander, which is frequently, especially as you start out. And then eventually you start learning how to body scan, right? This is all about surveying the body. And seemingly, and I wouldn't doubt it for a second, the more you do this, and this is sort of Gautama's process, like if you think of Gautama Buddha 2,500 years ago, meditating on a tree, he attained full enlightenment using this process. And he said that this was actually the missing technique. We had all these samadhis that were focused on different states of breathing and different things that were more active or more contrived. And this, he said, was the sama samadhi, the right samadhi, all right? Because it's simply focusing on the reality as it is, not how you want it to be. So this is sort of like, as you scan through, it's sort of like you're actually shining a light of sorts. Your mind could be seen to be like a light. You're uprooting these deep-rooted sankharas, as they call them, which are these dormant volcanoes waiting to be triggered. Like when we go throughout life, these negative ways of thinking are accrued and stored, and when you become remember, everything really is objective, and it's only us, the human lens, that subjectifies it. And someone could say, "Oh, I hate my boss. He's this, he's that." But someone else, "Oh, no, I actually quite like him." Like blah blah blah. So there is no there is no fixed reality. Like it's all the subjective relationship that we have with various people. There is no truth to what you're saying about this person. For example, it's all stored within you. And so, like, what this does, this meditation practice, it allows you to fast from your negative thought patterns. And it's these negative thought patterns that start to control us because they're so deep, they're so stored very much within the root level of the mind. And what we don't realize is that we are unconsciously sowing, every time we react, the sankhara, 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 this is the reactive aspect of the mind. What we're doing is we're sowing more weeds in the mind to become more reactive. And if we just can stop this process, we can lighten up. And that's really the first step of enlightenment, isn't it? We need to lighten up, and then we can start growing the garden differently. If once we've uprooted these tiny little kalapas, as they call them, just tiny little wavelengths, right? If you remember that, the physical body really isn't physical. It's mostly empty space, and modern scientists will corroborate with that. And these are actually tiny little thought forms. So your body is really just a thought form, a manifestation of the mind. And so as you think, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? The more you think in a certain way, the more literally those wavelengths are stored in the body. It's just like when you eat a banana becomes you, right? You become what you eat, but you also become what you think about. So we need to be careful about this, because if we want to actually attain high levels of consciousness and reach higher dimensional levels, and towards what we would call nirvana or heaven, we need to learn how to come back to the center. And that's really what this is all about. And I think, like, the more you know how to do that, the more you can attain this level, this state of being, an equanimous state of being. As they kept saying throughout the course that I've just been on, which I did over here in Suffolk, equanimity is purity, and purity is liberation, right? Purity is mukti, is moksha, is enlightenment. So if we can keep ourselves in that state of consciousness, we're going to find ourselves in a much better position to contend with this psychopathic society. Society is insane, but we're not making any better because we become very reactant. Okay, then we actually start wilting the mind, and we very much then belong in this kind of world of grave suffering. So we can learn how to put the fires out by way of this technique called the Vipassana meditation. But we can talk about exactly that step by step in the future. But I just wanted to introduce it here to you because it's such an amazing tool. It's things that they've introduced this to the prisons, and they've seen a total reduction of people coming back to prison, and crime rates reducing, so on and so forth. I can see how this has absolutely been a lost technique to humanity, and hopefully we can bring people back into this so that people can simply come out of their misery, come out of their suffering. We're suffering our own minds. It's learning how to live in that present moment, and that can be achieved by self-observation. So do check out S.N. Goenka, because he's kind of the guy that is helping to bring this back in. I think he died in 2014, but a lot of his videos, the discourse was from the 90s. And there are probably courses out, in your country somewhere, but there is here in the UK if you're interested in joining a couple of those courses. And of course, like places more exotic, further afield. And so, anyway, I just thought I'd just do a quick video on Vipassana. That was my pronunciation. I don't really know where I'm at. Vipassana, whatever. And hopefully I'll make some more videos because I've had another hiatus, haven't I? It's difficult to keep going because I don't feel like I'm progressing the channel very fast. It's hard to do this on my own, and life is very demanding. But New Earth.land, the charity is still there. Like, the way for us to remove rent and bills from society is for us to come together, reclaim our land, dilute power, and fulfill our immediate physiological needs through these autonomous architectural projects, which I've been talking about. And you can go online, New Earth.land, to learn more about that. But shelter, energy, food and water, those things should be basic human rights. Do check out Vipassana meditation, okay? I'll put a link below if you are intrigued to learn more. It will absolutely help you, help your friends or family. It should be a part of the education system, frankly, because we learn how to drive cars, we learn how to do pretty much anything out there, but we don't learn how to drive our own bodies. So we're sort of drink driving, right? And that's why we find it so difficult to be present. That's why we're suffering our own minds. So unfortunately. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.